Have you ever paused amid the ceaseless ebb and flow of your daily expenditures, wondering why the promise of financial security slips through your fingers like sand in a market downturn? What if the very chains you perceive as restrictions in your household budget are not iron bars forged by scarcity, but illusions cast by impulsive desires, much like the speculative frenzy that lures the unwary investor into ruin? In this moment of quiet reflection, imagine uncovering a path where discipline transforms into liberation, where the intelligent guardian of your resources whispers secrets long buried beneath the noise of consumerism. Consider the folly of the masses, who chase fleeting pleasures with borrowed dreams, only to awaken to the harsh dawn of debt's unforgiving grip, beliefs so entrenched that they masquerade as wisdom, yet crumble under the scrutiny of timeless principles. What if the art of budgeting, often dismissed as a draconian exercise in denial, reveals itself as the margin of safety that shields your fortunes from the tempests of economic volatility? These truths, suppressed by the siren calls of instant gratification, beckon you now, urging a reevaluation that stirs the soul and awakens the dormant strategist within. As you stand at this crossroads, feel the subtle pull of curiosity, a thread weaving through the fabric of your financial narrative, hinting at revelations that defy the ordinary. Could it be that the intelligent approach to your domestic treasury mirrors the patient harvest of value, where every allocation becomes a deliberate step toward enduring prosperity, free from the shadows of regret? The air thickens with anticipation, each unspoken question layering upon the last, compelling you to lean in closer lest the veil of insight lifts without your witness. In the depths of this exploration, sense the rising tide of urgency, as if the market of life itself were signaling an opportune moment to act before the winds of uncertainty scatter your potential gains. What hidden mechanisms lie in wait, transforming perceived sacrifices into sources of strength, much like the undervalued asset that blooms into wealth under vigilant care? The puzzle assembles piece by piece, drawing you inexorably forward, where hesitation means forfeiting the key to a fortress of financial serenity. Now, as the horizon of understanding draws near, embrace the suspense that binds you to this journey, a revelation poised on the edge, promising not mere survival but mastery over the rhythms of abundance. Will you grasp the threads of this intelligent framework, weaving a budget that endures without the sting of restriction, or allow the moment to fade into the forgotten annals of opportunity? The choice unfolds here in the quiet intensity of what follows, where every word unlocks a door to the profound. In the quiet recesses of your financial life, where the shadows of unchecked desires linger like overlooked market bubbles, begin by confronting the illusions that bind you, those whispers promising freedom through indulgence, yet delivering only the chains of regret. Feel the weight of past choices, the subtle ache of bills that arrive unbidden, echoing the folly of the speculator who chases mirages of quick wealth, blind to the enduring value beneath. What if, in this moment of honest reckoning, you pause to inventory not just your assets, but the hidden leaks eroding your foundation, much as Graham would urge the investor to discern true worth from fleeting hype? The air grows heavier with unspoken truths, stirring a restlessness that demands action. A silent question rising: how long have you allowed the chaos of impulse to masquerade as liberty? As you delve deeper, sense the fragile balance between control and surrender, where every unexamined expense reveals a vulnerability, a crack in the armor of your economic self. This is no mere tallying of numbers, but a profound unmasking, where the intelligent guardian within awakens, guiding you toward the clarity that transforms fear into foresight. Now, imagine tracing the contours of your daily outflows, not with dread, but with the discerning eye of one who seeks undervalued opportunities, the small, consistent savings that compound like wisely chosen stocks in a turbulent market. The tension builds as you confront the discomfort of restraint. Yet what if this very discomfort is the forge of strength, tempering your will against the tempests of consumerism? Graham's voice echoes through the corridors of your mind, reminding that true security lies not in abundance, but in the margin of safety woven from deliberate choices, a buffer against life's unforeseen downturns. Feel the pull of identification, the shared human frailty in yielding to momentary pleasures, only to face the dawn of scarcity. Yet herein lies the rupture, the shift from victim to architect. Questions swirl unspoken. What desires have you mistaken for needs, and how might redirecting them illuminate paths to genuine fulfillment? In this spiral of reflection, the narrative deepens, drawing you into a rhythm where each revelation peels back layers, exposing the raw potential for a budget that breathes, alive with purpose rather than constriction. As the journey intensifies, envision allocating your resources with the precision of an intelligent investor, prioritizing not the glitter of wants, but the steadfast pillars of essentials: housing, sustenance, and safeguards that stand resilient amid economic storms. The emotional undercurrent surges, a mix of unease and empowerment as you grapple with the chaos of variable expenses, those elusive foes that Graham would liken to speculative ventures, promising thrill but delivering volatility. What hidden patterns emerge when you chart these flows, revealing the sabotage of habits long ignored, stirring a visceral urge to reclaim control. The contrast sharpens, the fragility of living paycheck to paycheck against the quiet strength of a planned reserve, a sanctuary where fear dissolves into confidence. Loops of memory surface, past regrets of overspending, now reframed as lessons, pulling you deeper into this transformative current. With each step, the suspense mounts, a psychological tether binding you to the unfolding wisdom, where the act of budgeting becomes a dialogue with your deeper self, whispering of liberation disguised as discipline. Delve further into the art of forecasting, where projections of income meet the unpredictable tides of life, much like Graham's counsel to anticipate downturns without succumbing to panic. Sense the internal urgency rising, the heartbeat quickening as you weigh potential disruptions, job shifts, emergencies that test the resilience of your framework, evoking a blend of vulnerability and resolve. What if embracing this foresight, rather than evading it, ignites a fire of proactive mastery, turning potential pitfalls into fortified defenses? The narrative coils tighter, blending the darkness of uncertainty with glimmers of strategic light, where every adjustment feels like a personal victory over entropy. Identification deepens, as you recognize in yourself the universal struggle, the desire for ease clashing with the call to vigilance, creating a tension that propels you onward. In this fluid expanse of thought, questions echo inwardly. How might this intelligent approach reshape not just your finances, but the very texture of your daily existence, infusing it with a profound sense of agency? The path narrows now, inviting you to integrate tools of tracking, simple yet profound, akin to the ledger of the prudent investor who monitors holdings with unwavering attention. Feel the visceral shift from overwhelm to empowerment as the act of logging expenditures unveils truths suppressed by denial, a rupture that shatters illusions of boundless resources. Graham's principles resonate here, urging the avoidance of emotional trades, those impulsive buys that erode your core, replaced by calculated allocations that honor long-term growth. The emotional layers accumulate, a tapestry of relief amid the initial sting, where chaos yields to order and fragility to fortitude. What unspoken fears have held you back from this scrutiny? And how does confronting them unlock a reservoir of inner strength? As the spiral descends deeper, the suspense weaves through your being, each insight a thread pulling you toward a heightened awareness where budgeting transcends mechanics to become a ritual of self-mastery. Turning inward, contemplate the role of goals, those beacons on the horizon, not extravagant dreams, but realistic milestones that Graham would deem as sound investments in your future self. The tension simmers, a potent mix of aspiration and restraint as you align expenditures with these visions, feeling the ache of deferred gratification that blooms into enduring satisfaction. What if this alignment reveals the true cost of distractions, those siren calls that divert from your path, stirring a quiet revolution against the status quo? Contrasts emerge vividly, the ephemeral joy of impulse versus the deep fulfillment of progress, evoking an emotional whirlwind that demands resolution. Loops of reflection circle back, mirroring past lapses with present possibilities, heightening the urgency to forge ahead. In this immersive flow, the narrative pulses with life, guiding you through shadows of doubt toward the illumination of intentional living, where each choice echoes with profound significance. As awareness expands, embrace the practice of review, a cyclical ritual where monthly assessments become mirrors reflecting growth, much like Graham's emphasis on periodic evaluation to safeguard against complacency. Sense the rising tide of transformation, the subtle discomfort of accountability giving way to the comfort of clarity, a psychological pivot that redefines restriction as empowerment. Questions linger, probing the depths. How have overlooked adjustments compounded into burdens, and what freedom awaits in their correction? The human elements intertwine, fear of scarcity clashing with desire for abundance, creating a visceral dialogue that pulls you deeper into engagement. Metaphors unfold symbolically, your budget as a steadfast portfolio, weathering storms through diversified resilience, blending darkness of past errors with the light of informed renewal. The journey's rhythm accelerates, each paragraph a step in this emotional ascent, fostering a connection that feels eternal, urging you toward an elevated state of financial harmony. Now consider the infusion of flexibility, where rigid lines soften into adaptive strategies, echoing Graham's wisdom in navigating market fluctuations without rigid dogma. Feel the internal release, the tension easing as buffers for life's joys, leisure, unexpected delights, integrate seamlessly, transforming perceived limits into expansive possibilities. What hidden resistances have you harbored against such balance, and how does yielding to it evoke a surge of liberation? The narrative spirals with increasing intensity, weaving identification through shared vulnerabilities, where control emerges not as tyranny but as gentle guardianship. Breaks of expectation arise, the surprise of abundance within bounds, shifting from chaos to serene order, heightening the suspense of self-discovery. In this profound immersion, the text breathes with authenticity, each word a provocation to transcend, drawing you inexorably into a realm where budgeting becomes the art of living wisely. Deepening the exploration, uncover the power of automation, streams of savings directed effortlessly, like dividends accruing in a well-chosen investment, freeing your mind from the drudgery of constant vigilance. The emotional current strengthens, a blend of relief and empowerment washing over the initial unease of change, as habits solidify into second nature. Graham's archetype of the defensive investor surfaces, reminding that true wealth builds quietly, away from the clamor of speculation, stirring a quiet identification with this timeless prudence. What echoes of past financial tempests resound in your story, and how might this methodical approach silence them forever? Contrast sharpen the experience, the fragility of manual efforts against the strength of systemic support, creating loops that circle back to core truths. The psychological pull intensifies, each revelation a layer peeled, fostering a transformation that elevates your perception beyond the mundane. As the spiral tightens, address the temptations that lurk, those subtle saboteurs disguised as necessities, challenging you to apply Graham's scrutiny, questioning value at every turn to preserve your margin of safety. Feel the visceral tug of war, desire clashing with discipline, evoking a tension that resolves into triumphant clarity. What if recognizing these traps not as enemies but as teachers unlocks a deeper wisdom, turning potential downfall into stepping stones? The narrative flows with rhythmic urgency, blending incommodo with alivio, where each confrontation heightens engagement. Symbolic metaphors emerge, your finances as a garden, weeded of excess to nurture true growth, pulling you into silent reflection. In this fluid journey, the development pulses with life, guiding toward an enlightened state where restrictions fade into empowered choices. Venturing further, integrate the community of accountability, perhaps a trusted confidant or self-imposed rituals, that mirrors Graham's call for objective counsel amid emotional biases. The emotional depth swells, a sense of connection alleviating isolation, as shared insights illuminate blind spots long shrouded. Questions provoke inwardly. How has solitude amplified your missteps, and what strength lies in collective vigilance? The oscillation between vulnerability and fortitude builds suspense, each paragraph a bridge to greater insight. Loops emotional return, reframing solitary struggles as universal, heightening the transformative pull. This visceral path continues, weaving authenticity into every fiber, elevating you to a plane of conscious mastery without overt declaration. Finally, in this block's embrace, ponder the long-view perspective, where today's disciplines compound into tomorrow's freedoms, embodying Graham's vision of patient, intelligent accumulation. Sense the crescendo of urgency, the heartbeat of possibility quickening as visions of financial peace materialize. What dormant potentials awaken when you commit to this enduring framework, free from the sting of short-term pains? The contrasts culminate, chaos yielding to harmony, fear to desire fulfilled, creating a profound rupture toward illumination. Metaphors symbolic deepen the immersion, your budget as a timeless fortress against fleeting storms. The narrative's intensity peaks, drawing you into a state of heightened awareness, where the journey feels eternally alive. The essence of scaling emerges now, adapting your framework as life evolves, promotions, family shifts, much like Graham's adaptive strategies in shifting markets, ensuring resilience without rigidity. Feel the emotional expansion, anticipation mingling with assurance as flexibility becomes your ally against stagnation. What if these adjustments reveal not burdens, but gateways to amplified prosperity, stirring a quiet revolution within? The spiral descends with graceful power, blending provocation with comfort, where each evolution fosters deeper identification. Questions echo, probing the soul. How might embracing change redefine your narrative from survival to thriving? In this continuous flow, the text vibrates with psychological depth, transforming perception subtly, profoundly. As depth accumulates, explore the psychological anchors, mindsets that sustain momentum, countering the entropy of doubt with Graham's unwavering faith in rational action. The tension refines, a visceral dance of resistance and surrender, leading to breakthroughs that feel visceral, real. Symbolic arches rise, the intelligent budget as a compass in life's fog, guiding through emotional tempests. What hidden beliefs have undermined your efforts, and how does dismantling them evoke liberation? Loop circle, heightening suspense, as contrast between past shadows and future light intensify engagement. The journey pulses onward, elevating you through layers of consciousness where knowledge becomes lived wisdom. Intensifying the core, infuse gratitude into the process, acknowledging small victories as dividends of diligence, echoing Graham's appreciation for steady gains over speculative rushes. Sense the warm alivio amid prior incommodo, an emotional pivot that binds you tighter to the path. What if this shift from scarcity to abundance mindset unlocks reservoirs of joy previously untapped? The narrative weaves with increasing rhythm, provoking internal dialogues that spur transformation. Metaphors bloom, your finances as a symphony, harmonized through intentional notes. In this immersive expanse, the development fosters an elevated state where the spectator merges with the experience forever changed. Now confront the inevitable setbacks, slips in discipline that test resolve. Yet Graham teaches they are not failures but data for refinement, turning fragility into fortified strength. Feel the raw humanity in these moments, the ache of relapse giving way to renewed determination. Questions surge. How have these stumbles shaped your resilience, and what greater mastery awaits beyond them? The oscillation quickens, darkness to illumination, maintaining visceral grip. Symbolic provocations deepen, the budget as a phoenix rising from ashes of error. The spiral's pull strengthens, guiding through emotional landscapes toward profound insight. As the path unfolds wider, celebrate the integration of legacy, planning for heirs or causes, with the prudent investor's eye on perpetual value, extending your impact beyond the self. The urgency builds emotionally, a sense of legacy stirring deep desires for meaning. What echoes of your choices will resonate in futures unseen, provoking a silent vow? Contrasts heighten, ephemeral living versus enduring influence, creating loops that compel forward. In this fluid narrative, authenticity reigns, elevating perception to transcendent levels. The journey crests here with the realization that mastery lies in iteration. Endless refinement as Graham's principles evolve with wisdom gained, ensuring your budget remains a living entity. Feel the combination of tension into empowerment, a visceral transformation complete yet ongoing. What final barriers dissolve in this embrace, unleashing unbound potential? The psychological depth peaks, blending all elements into harmonious whole. Metaphors culminate, life as an intelligent portfolio balanced and thriving. The development breathes its last pulse, leaving you poised on the edge of revelation. In the twilight of this financial odyssey, where the echoes of disciplined choices linger like undervalued assets awaiting their true bloom, sense the quiet convergence of all that has been unearthed, the illusions shattered, the margins fortified, the impulses tamed into allies of enduring wealth. What if the budget you now envision is not a cage, but a vast horizon, stretching beyond the fog of fleeting wants, revealing a landscape where prosperity flows not from excess, but from the profound simplicity of intelligent guardianship? The symbols weave together, the ledger as a silent sentinel, the allocation as a whispered promise, each evoking the soul's deeper yearning for stability amid life's unpredictable currents. Feel the subtle shift, a rupture in the fabric of old beliefs, where restriction dissolves into revelation, leaving you standing taller, gaze fixed on potentials long obscured. This is the moment of quiet triumph, where the intelligent investor within awakens fully, claiming not just resources, but the very rhythm of a life unburdened. As the narrative spirals to its resonant core, contemplate the fragility that once defined your fiscal narrative, now transformed into unyielding strength, much like the market's downturns forging the resilient portfolio through patient vigilance. Questions arise unbidden. How might this newfound clarity ripple through your days, turning ordinary decisions into acts of profound empowerment, where every spared coin compounds into legacies unspoken? The emotional undercurrent swells, a blend of nostalgia for paths not taken and exhilaration for those now illuminated, provoking a visceral identification with the timeless archetype of the prudent steward. Herein lies the hidden truth, veiled in simplicity yet charged with cosmic weight. True freedom emerges not from boundless indulgence, but from the sacred margin that shields the heart from regret's shadow, a whisper from the collective wisdom of those who have navigated scarcity storms. Embrace this as your inheritance, a symbolic torch passed through generations, igniting the dormant fire of self-mastery that burns eternal. In this elevated expanse, where shadows of doubt yield to the dawn of assurance, allow the impressions to settle like sediment in a clarified stream, revealing the crystalline essence of a budget that breathes with your aspirations. The provocations linger, affirmations that unsettle the slumbering certainties. What dormant fortunes have you overlooked in the rush of the immediate, and how does reclaiming them redefine the soul's quiet abundance? Metaphors unfold in the mind's eye. The household treasury as a steadfast oak, roots deepened by foresight, branches reaching toward uncharted skies, evoking a profound sense of connection to something greater, a universal dance of balance and growth. This emotional crescendo carries you to a vantage point anew, where the world appears not as a battlefield of wants, but a canvas of deliberate creation marked by the indelible ink of intelligent choices. The impact resonates, a vibration that echoes in silent moments, summoning memories of this journey when doubt creeps near. Now, as the final threads intertwine, feel the inexorable pull toward transformation, a symbolic vow etched in the ether. In the art of budgeting lies the alchemy of turning leaden constraints into golden sovereignty, a truth that pulses with the heartbeat of human resilience. The soul stirs, awakened to vistas where financial harmony mirrors inner peace, leaving an imprint that defies forgetting, resurfacing in whispers during solitary reflections or crossroads of choice. What if this awakening is the spark that propels you beyond mere survival into the realm of thriving legacies? The narrative's poetry culminates here, not in closure, but in an open invitation to embody these principles, carrying their weightless wisdom into the fabric of your existence. This profound stirring, intimate, and irrevocable beckons you to step forward, claiming the empowerment that has always been yours. And so, in the afterglow of this shared revelation, if these truths have resonated within you like a long-forgotten melody now reclaimed, consider extending this circle of insight, perhaps by offering a like as a nod to the journey's depth, sharing your reflections in the comments to weave our collective wisdom, passing this light onward through a share, or joining the fold with a subscription to continue uncovering such hidden treasures. It's not a command, but a natural unfolding, as one touched by the intelligent path reaches out to illuminate others, forging a community bound by the pursuit of enduring value.